All right, guys, got a special treat for you guys on this one. This man right here, Mike Goodwin, Caged Aggression MMA is the name of the show. He's got some groundbreaking history event. I just got done talking to him. I have no idea how he's going to pull this off because it's hard enough to do just one show. But tell him what you got coming up.
Man, we've done 13 two-night events in the last 10 years. And, I'm always trying to not reinvent the wheel, just try to make it spin a little different each show. So I'm like, what do we got to do this year after this whole pandemic mess? What do we got to do to try to break through again? So we're going to do the first ever 3-night MMA event, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, pro-am, fighters from everywhere, bananas, man.
Dude, that is okay. Why three? I'm just curious because you want to just like do something totally outside the box, never been done before. Like, what's the real reasoning?
Yeah, that's actually a great question because not only did I want to try to do something different, we've done so many two-night events, like I said before we got on air, that people are, when I just do a one-night event, people are like, it's only one night. So I'm like, okay, how do we really kind of do something bigger? But also because what I learned last year, we ended up doing 3 back-to-back-to-back two-night events because of this pandemic. They finally gave us a small window of opportunity. And what I noticed is there's fighters all over the country starving, man. Most places are still shut down. The gyms are starving. The fighters are starving. So I was like, you know what? I can provide more opportunities with a third night. I'm not afraid of the work. I've done enough two-night events. I know how our team is killer and they know how to run it. So let's add a Thursday.
Wow, man. So what city is this taking place?
So we're in Iowa. We're in Quad Cities, they call it. 2 cities in Iowa, 2 in Illinois, right on the Mississippi. We're in Davenport, Iowa.
Okay. And then I see that you have, was it Pat Miletich, Jens Pulver, my good friend Jeffrey Wilson. They're commentating. You got somebody else on the commentating team too, right?
Yeah, we're going to have a good friend of a promotion in our family, Jordan Hinman. He's an LFA veteran. The commentary thing, what's really awesome about that is part of this whole COVID thing and restrictions is they took us from like 3,000 seats to like 700 in our venue. And I mean, you can do the math pretty quickly. It killed us. So we said, how do we continue to do the events like we do them with big production, bigger name fighters? And, but how can we do it with so many, with such less seats? So last year we ended up building a pay-per-view platform, but more than just pay-per-view, anybody can buy a pay-per-view. How we did it was, when you buy the pay-per-view, you can actually select the fighter that you're supporting and they get a percentage of each buy under their name. So we brought in 40 fighters from like 14 different states. Obviously they can't bring their fans if they're from California coming to Iowa. So what we did was we said, we're going to find a way that their fans can still support them. They can get a piece of the pie. And we ended up having like 38 out of 40 fighters had buys under their name. So it showed us that it works. But on top of that, when you're watching the pay-per-view, you can actually interact live with the commentary. So we wanted to have commentators like Jens and like Pat. These are to me, I'm still brand new to this game, even though I've been in it 10 years. These are like legends. These are, Hall of Fame champions of the UFC. So to be able to like watch the fights on TV and ask Pat a question or ask Jens a question, that's just cool, man. We wanted to make it more interactive for the fans, even though they couldn't come to the show.
That's really creative, man. And you're right. When it's the whole feeling like you almost have like a friendship or like they know you type thing.
Sure.
I mean, that's everything. People want to feel like they're part of it. They're part of the show. And if you're giving them that, man, that's real clever. Yeah. Funny thing you mentioned, Pat, my very first UFC that I went to was UFC 36. Listen to this one. UFC 36, March of 2002, bro.
Wow.
19 years ago. Pat fought against Matt Lindland at 185. And I was sitting in the second row. So there's a floor in the second row. He was walking down the steps, man. I remember taking a picture with Pat. This was 19 years ago, bro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with Pat. I've watched all of his fights. Yeah, man. So anybody who appreciates a Jens Pulver, appreciates a Pat Miletich, and the fact that you got both of those guys, and on top of my friend Jeffrey, who's amazing at podcasting, by the way, the fact that you got all those people, man, that should be a great show. So anybody who's watching this right now, how can they watch the Caged Aggression? Like when it comes up, is there like your website they can go to if they want to watch a streaming, pay-per-view, whatever? How can they watch it?
Yeah, super simple, man. Just cagedaggression.tv, cagedaggression.tv. I mean, but you can Google Caged Aggression. We've got our own website, social media everywhere, cagedaggressionevents.com. I mean, if you just Google Caged Aggression, you'll find it.
Right on, man. One question I wanted to ask you. I just know that how tough it is. I work in film and TV, man. So there is some like productions, for instance, like if I want to work on it, let's say I get hired, they might tell me, okay, Mike, you can work on this movie, but you got to come over here 7 days earlier and quarantine. We'll test you and you can't go nowhere. You can't go out with anybody that's outside of the bubble of people per se.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, I mean, I know you have fighters coming from everywhere, California, wherever, man. How are you guys handling that? Like, because like we talked about, it's ridiculously hard to even put a show together, and then you have this whole 3 thing, and then fighters for everywhere, the pandemic thing. How the heck are you doing this, man?
It's been a challenge, man. I mean, like I said, we did once they gave us the green light last year. People know Iowa's been a little bit more lenient starting last year. So even though we're restricted, to me, they gave us something, and something's better than nothing. So we had to jump through a lot of hoops in terms of distancing and masks and testing and all this crazy stuff to make it happen. But no matter what we did, I consecutively, all 3 shows, I had fighters have to drop out because they caught the virus. So we just had to do everything we could to maintain it, to keep it safe. I had one gym in particular where 3 guys in the gym that they had it, so that we can't bring them here. We had to cancel all of that and replace it. Now, it sucks because with so many fighters wanting to fight right now, it was fairly easy to replace the fight, but it's more than that to me. It's these guys that have committed to us, and they spent the time and the money and the training and the sacrifice, and they cut the weight, and they're about to have fight week, and then they get pulled, over something. And the crazy thing is a couple of the times they weren't sick. One guy in particular, Kenny Robertson, he's a 9-time UFC vet, man, and he was supposed to fight last September, and he's a teacher. So a week before the show, he gets tested because they have to be tested, and he has COVID. He's like, Mike, I'm not sick, man, but it didn't matter. We had to make the right decision and postpone things.
How many fighters total in all are fighting on your thing? Do you know?
60 in March. Yeah, we have 60. We'll do 20 each night, 20 fighters each night. We did a great mix of professional and amateur. Of course, female fights. Crowd loves those. We made sure we had one on every night. A really good mix, man. It's in a roundabout way, it really opened up the doors to be able to work with a lot of different talent. And when you have so many guys and girls that want to be a part of it, it makes for a much bigger puzzle, and I can put better matchups together. So we've had some of the best fights we've had in a decade.
So do you guys have like kind of people on standby in case, like, I don't know, let's say 4 of them catch it, and then boom, you lose 2 fights or 3 fights or something? Do you guys kind of have people that, hey, just in case somebody falls out, we might need you to fight so-and-so, so you two be ready? Are you guys doing that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've got such a great relationship with so many managers and coaches now and gyms all over that really it's just a phone call away. The craziest thing for me is when we set out to do the 3-night event, I made an announcement in December, and we had, of course, I start getting all the gyms and managers messaging me, and I'm like, yeah, man, I got you. I'll get your whole team on. Well, then I started building the cards, and I realized we've got like 350 names on our spreadsheet that want to fight in March. 350. And I've got room for 60, man. So here I am thinking, oh, we're going to be able to provide so many more opportunities, which we are in retrospect to some states, but not even close, man. If there wasn't this whole business side to it, I'd do a show every weekend. That's the part I love, but got to pay for it.
Yeah, man. It sounds like something I've definitely got to come out to. So I'm out here in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's pretty open. It's pretty lenient. Like I'm not sure exactly how it is in comparison to over there in Iowa. Are you getting any fighters from out here, Atlanta, by chance?
I don't believe I have anybody from Georgia. No, not on this one.
Yeah.
How's the MMA scene out there?
They got a American Top Team in Atlanta.
Yeah.
With Juan Canero and the Lima brothers are out here. There's some pretty good people out here. I talked to some of them, some of the people that are involved in bare knuckle. Yeah, there's some pretty good fighters, man. Maybe I'll help push some to you guys. Bring some Atlanta people out there, man.
Yeah. Do you have any promotions out there? Do you have a lot of local, like regional, local promotions?
There's a couple of them. Yeah, I try to do media at one of them, but I'm so crazy busy with the film and TV, acting and stunt stuff.
Yeah.
But this is kind of something like I do for fun. I love MMA, bro. I love watching
Yeah.
it. I used to cover regional shows out in California, where I'm originally from, and it was just so exciting, man, just to see some of the guys that you knew were gonna make it to the.
Yeah.
There's guys that I knew it, bro. I called it way before I could just tell by watching. I was like, that guy, as long as he doesn't get hurt, he's gonna make it. Sure thing. They made it.
Yeah. But it's funny you say that about with Pat way back in the day because
Mm-hmm.
um, I got into this because I got to work for the IFL. Remember the
Oh,
team? Yeah, man.
I
So
do.
Pat had the Silverbacks, and I was just a driver. So they flew me to New Jersey, Connecticut, Chicago, and here I am around all these legends of the sport, right? And I remember I went to the bathroom at one of the venues, and I bump into Chuck Liddell, and to me, I was like, wow, right? So I think that's kind of my secret sauce is that I'm not a manager, I'm not a coach, I never fought. My
Mhm.
only vested interest is good fights, putting a good show together, and not having any like underlying, get my fighters on the show and feed them good fights and all that. There's just no vested interest. I'm just doing it as a fan, and I never thought I'd be doing it this long, but it kept snowballing, man. So yeah, I have this similar story where I was like, holy crap, and now I'm working with these guys.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I'll show up to like a gym or a show. Like I talk to Dominic Cruz sometimes, and when I'm from California, so I'll walk into Uriah
Yeah,
Faber's gym. I'll walk in Uriah, say hi to me. You know what I mean? Like these guys have been doing it for like so long. It's cool, man. It's just like I don't necessarily want anything from them. I just admire what they're doing, and
yeah,
they've done a lot of stuff for a lot of people. I think a lot of them don't get enough credit, man. People like Pat, who opened the door for a lot of people, put his time, invested his time, built people up. You know what I mean? He wasn't making a ton of money. You don't make a ton of money like running a gym, and you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like there's
for
not a ton of
sure.
money into it, man. So a rough sport like that, and then just seeing how generous a lot of them are, that they just want their fighters to succeed. I think it's a cool thing, man.
Yeah, I've got a couple guys coming out from California for this show in March. One specifically, man, he's like what you were saying about you can just see that he's got it.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got a guy here in the Midwest has that same thing, man, and they're fighting each other. And I really believe that this fight is one of those fights where their next fight's on a big stage. And ultimately, my job or my goal is to try to move these guys up to bigger stages because it's cool seeing them on TV. Like, man, I worked with that guy. He fought for me.
So the thing is, they always come back, and they have other fighters that they're built up. They're going to be there at your event, plugging
Yeah,
you in their fighters corner, and like posting on social media because you help them too.
yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, man. Well, man, I won't take up too much of your time. Anything else? You have like a social media page or something you want people to go to?
Yeah, like I said, man, we're pretty much all the social media outlets. It's Caged Aggression, everything. I mean, Google Caged Aggression. We're everywhere. It's not that hard to find in terms of that on the internet.
Mhm.
That's the world we live in now.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time too, man. Every little bit helps. We just want to get our name out there, get these fighters' names out there, and like I said, if they're a fan of somebody on the show or on our team, or heck, even if they're not and they don't have anything going on,
Mhm.
$25, check it out. Give it a chance. We put together great matchups. We've got a great team, great commentary. It's a good show.
I'm gonna be watching, man. But I'll go ahead and shoot you this video. I'll post it on all my sites, bro, and Yeah, I wish you the best of luck, man. Thank you for your time, bro.
Dude, that's awesome. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
All right, brother. Talk to you later.
Yep. Take care.
Yep.